Good evening, this is Nerds to Human and welcome back to our Mongol Horde campaign, and you join us outside Odessa where of course we are ready for the next attack. We have ourselves plenty of trebuchets and the siege equipment ready to go. That though will probably not be the most tricky fight today. The most tricky fight is most likely going to be this one here at Trebizond, where there's a full-on castle with plenty of troops. On this occasion we don't have any trebuchets to soften the blow. That one could be quite tricky indeed, but in general we made a good start last time, apart from the death of one general who we will not speak of again. That failure of a man has got himself killed and the rest of us will have to march on without him. Slight worry about some of these perhaps going rebel, but hopefully we won't see that anytime soon. Genghis the Clever, yes, Genghis the Clever. You can stick with this army actually, because that is the mopping up army. Indeed, we do need to make sure that there aren't any little forces who come along and just mop up some of these rebel towns, because we don't want any of that. We want to make sure everyone is destroyed. As for the Russians, we actually will have a fight with them today. We're heading over to Ryazan. It seems like they're actually already beginning to mobilise, which is nice for them. Bit of training on the old assassin. Lovely news. Unfortunately, no gain there. Ryazan is basic enough for the time being. Just head over to Smolensk or whatever the next town is. I can't quite recall. You know what though? We will start off. Should we start off with Odessa here today? So we've got our trebuchets as ever. We might. Should be simple enough. Won't really worry about the reinforcements too much. We just need to deal with the Turkomans, who can, of course, be a little bit awkward if we're not careful. So let's head on in. Let's take them out. It's always delightful to start off with destroying a wall, and hopefully we can do not quite. Hopefully we can do enough damage with them still on the wall. We actually missed one of our shots there, which is most unfortunate. They seem to have realised with siege equipment and are now deserting the walls. That's interesting. This wall, though, is ready to be knocked down, and as the boulders come in, we should at least kill a few of them, which is indeed what I'm hoping for right about now. There we go. Smashy, smashy. A few men have been toppled along with it. And with that, I think they're done. It was only about 7 or so, but it's still quite amusing. There we go. The rest of it's now falling down. Perhaps we should start focusing on the towers over here. Let's get them taken down. Seems like they're giving up on defending the walls pretty much immediately. And we've started resorting to rocket launchers just to make this all the more silly and fun. Got to get down these last couple towers before we start heading in. We've got all the missiles we could ever want, but we do just need to make sure we finish up a little bit of... Just keep missing these darn towers. There we go. We've finally done it. And those missiles are all being wasted now. You guys can stop. That's fine. Have one volley left to shoot some of these guys, which we'll probably just work out a nice angle for. If we can do that, that would be perfect. Now that we've got the arrows coming in, I think it's time to immediately demolish this wall, because they sent their archers to go and defend it. So yes, the immediate response is catapult smashing into the archers. You seem to have given up on defending that particular part of the wall. I think maybe we should smash into this part as well, just to make sure they really get the picture. Yes, my good friend archers, your job is not to stand on the wall and defend it today. No, the wall will crumble, and with that they decide they don't want to do this anymore. I don't really blame them. You know what? You know what? We won't worry about the extra shots, actually. What we'll do is we'll start shooting to the spear militia with fire instead, and that should be awfully fun. Oh, indeed, the flaming shots are starting to rain on in, and whilst only 1 or 2 of them are going to land a nice hit, any that do, they are in such a ridiculous position right now. Yeah, they're in trouble. I suspect, though, you might have to start resorting to cows over in this part of the world, so choose what you like, my good sir, and start shooting those cows. Bit of cat and mouse going on, but they have now decided to come close enough for the cows to be able to hit them, which is good news indeed. I had just ran my archers inside, which seems to have piqued their interest. But at this point, to be honest, yes, it says building lost, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm much more interested in the cow carcass, which we just missed with and kind of hit the wall, which is a bit unfortunate because I wanted to stand my archers up there in a minute. But, oh well, what's done is done, I suppose. Hopefully we can at least hit them with 1 cow. Having sent a rotting cow carcass through the roof of this building and largely slaughtered all the horses here in the street. It's lasagna for dinner tonight, ladies and gents, and of course, with that, yeah, the last few arrows have slaughtered them. A simple enough victory, and glory. And what looks like a fairly solid army can indeed be completely slaughtered easily enough. And our money, of course, is ticking up, something you might be noticing. We will need those mercenaries in time. In fact, it might not be the worst idea to start thinking about hiring them some point in the future. Apparently we can hire ourselves a boat. I'm not sure we want to be doing that anytime soon. But yes, let's keep ourselves moving towards the river. And with that, okay, an Egyptian army, their colours are a little bit too similar to mine. Are these guys friends or not? Let's have a quick look at the diplomacy. There have been a few wars, but nothing. Yeah, there's been a ceasefire or two, so I guess the ceasefires have taken over at this point. Fine, on to Trebizond, where it's going to be a slightly harder affair. I've actually been here a couple turns just to get myself lots and lots of ladders. That is probably for the best. Now, they have plenty of horse archers, but we do have enough infantry to take them out. We're just going to be a little bit careful here. Trebizond archers, of course. Spear militia, a few peasants. Mongol infantry are pretty solid, to be honest. They should be fine. We will go with a night attack, though, just to be sure. Welcome then, ladies and gentlemen, to a proper full-on castle, and for some reason we are stuck at the wrong side of this puppy. Yes, we probably want to be over at that entrance, but we are not, so I guess we're going to have to attack from this kind of side of the battlefield. The main tactic, of course, will be to get our archers up on those walls and as much up and around as possible. Yeah, proper stone walls and towers. These could be quite deadly to us if we're not careful. So, we have to arrange this carefully and hopefully get them spread out a bit. Unfortunately, this flank isn't particularly useful for any of that, although I might just send someone sneaking around here if I can manage it. Well, in we go then, and this is going to be an interesting old affair. We're just going to get ourselves charging in that general direction as much as possible. They've got plenty of towers activated. We're going to have to hope that we can do some filthy damage. I'm trying to use these towers as a distraction as much as possible. There we go. It's doing the job. So as long as they are shooting that tower and not our men, I'm quite happy with that situation. Okay, so this is probably one of those battles where using some mercs would be a very good idea, because I could basically let them be the fodder, and that's probably how I'm going to use them, because paying for them will be a little bit annoying, but to be honest, we can probably afford it, and I'd rather use them up in a battle and use them to die, so that's probably the tactic we'll be using in future. I should have considered that before this battle, but let's just see how this goes. See how much we can really push a head-on kind of siege affair here, because that could be an interesting one indeed. So these lads are going to climb up the walls. That's a bit of a damaged unit anyway. That's a bit unfortunate. Their spear militia. We're in this kind of a direction. Our towers and the rams are all in the same position over here. Any angles we can get will be grand, because actually archers up here, if we do manage to get them there, could do a very good job indeed. Now, of course, if I were the one defending right now, not one of these towers around would burn down. It's also raining, so that should really stop it. But no, I'm sure we'll have some of our things burned down, because it doesn't normally seem to be how it goes. This is a terrible waste of my my infantry, by the way. Really could be using them a lot better. Trebizond archers, though, not the worst things to be hitting. And we have at least avoided being taken on by them in hand, well, with missiles, sorry, because they've been shooting the tower. 12-16, we are, and good stamina. So we are very much the superior infantry force here. And hopefully that will show quickly. But of course they are defending the walls, and they've got towers up here. Could be quite painful. Now, as for this part of the battlefield, this is just an auxiliary thing. It might keep them distracted. Yes, indeed. So they sent some horse archers around, are they? That's intriguing. Fine, that's fine and dandy by me. We'll send a deployment of our cavalry. Probably swinging out wide, to be honest, just to make sure we intercept them. I'm glad I noticed all of that nonsense, because they're probably coming to take on these foot archers who are currently standing around in a bit of a vulnerable position. So, okay, don't think they're going to catch any of that infantry over here, so that's fine by me, but this cavalry really needs to swing around and help these guys before too long. Like right now, because these guys are going to be causing some problems. There's that 1 or 2 stragglers down at the bottom here. What are they doing? I think they might be trying to come around to these guys, actually. So that's interesting. Okay, get on top of them, just charge them down. We can pour on top of them. I don't mind the odd missile here or there, but these guys do need to be taken out if at all possible. We should probably go off fire if we can. Yes, we've actually got our towers and our rams, the walls. That's good. We've actually taken over the walls in some circumstances. See if we can shoot them, because shooting is generally better than actually fighting them. There we go. The ram has broken down the gates. This is going surprisingly okay. Interesting. We've obviously taken a fair few knocks. Spear militia there. And there goes their general. Apparently it's their general they sent out. What utter fools. Okay, so with him gone, especially with him standing out by the gate, that should put us in a much better position. You guys all withdraw. We don't need to get you shot by the towers. We don't have complete control of those right now. So I don't want too much nonsense. Right, fire arrows have done their job against these guys. That's nice indeed. And what it's awfully like, yeah, these guys can just climb up onto the walls up here. Perfect news. And we're doing some very, very good work. These guys are not fighting anymore. The spear militia have given up. Oh, that is fun. We've actually managed to do this an awful lot more simply than I imagined. We even have these walls over here, which is somewhat of a surprise. Okay, now can we shoot this plaza from anywhere? Because I seem to remember this castle's a bit awkward for that kind of nonsense, because I couldn't get up to this wall here, so we actually can't shoot them. Very, very nice kind of castle this, a tough one to take on in many ways. Okay, looks like we managed to take the wall surprisingly simply. A little bit of loss for these infantry, which is unfortunate, but it's just the way it goes. If they want to come and take us on, we'll be slaughtering them from distance. Some Byzantine cavalry coming out of the castle here, but they don't seem to have realised they've also got cavalry to support these lads on this flank. Isn't that absolutely marvellous? We'll have these guys shot down from all around. They will not be pleased about this. We might take a few losses doing this, but I think they'll break. Yeah, they will break. They will indeed break. Byzantine cavalry are still fighting, though the Sikathon have given up. Okay, so the gate is refusing. No, it isn't refusing. Okay, that's fine. We'll chase them on in. Chase them on into their city. There's a few more of them over here. That's okay. Apparently that tower is back in their control, which is not ideal. Okay. You know what? Our cavalry, let's just continue the charge because they are shaken. I think we've got the advantage here. Might as well keep pushing it. Yeah, they've broken as well. They have broken as well. This is going gloriously well. They seem to be sending an awful lot of their troops off the plaza, which is very, very convenient for me because I'm quite happy with that old scenario because we can start shooting them. Might mean the odd tower activates occasionally, but they're breaking way too quickly. I think send this second force around. They could only actually start around here, by the way. They had to do quite a bit of running to get there, so those archers might be tired. But I think we're in a pretty good position at this point to keep pushing them on. Yeah, they've sent all their forces out in weak positions. And now, yeah, there's an encirclement about to happen to you guys. You are about to be encircled. Sorry about that. Sorry about all of that. And by sorry, I mean I'm going to have you shot. So, with that, it's down to just a few spear militia on the plaza here. And we can, to be honest, let's get all our missiles to start shooting in on them. We don't need to do any of that nonsense. Let's just have them slaughtered. With them pinned on the plaza then, there's nothing that their towers can do anymore apart from over here, but to be honest, they are not in a position to make use of any of that. So missiles ahoy and victory will soon be ours. Lovely fountain here. I do like these castles, they're particularly beautiful. I do find the purple, good old regal purple, is particularly beautiful. Just the general layout of these, they're quite glorious for just a basic kind of castle. As I said in the last episode, Trebizond is a ridiculously spectacular looking place in real life, so I suppose this is a fitting castle for them to have. In the end, it was only 131 men lost, which, considering a castle with 650 odd men, I'd say we've done a pretty darn good job there. A few losses. I probably would use mercs in future to take the loss, but I'm impressed. We will, of course, ransom the men just to have a bit of money, but apparently by the time I've already spent the 15,000 or so monies I gave them at the start of the game, and with that, they have been slaughtered. Sack the settlement. Oh, it's pushed us in the wrong direction. That was always possible. No boats. Well, I guess we're going to take the very, very, very slow way around on this particular occasion. It's irritating, but it's just the way it goes on some of these mountain passes. Never quite know how it's going to run for you, so we'll continue to send them around. No boats, unfortunately, right now. Done a bit of sabotage, by the way, in case you're curious. But I think it's probably time to end our turn. In classic fashion, Portugal at war with Scotland, so I guess they've invaded Wales. That's the most likely thing. Byzantines really don't like us because we just ransomed their troops back rather than murdered them. But okay, whatever. Next time we'll just murder them in cold blood then, you fools. Okay, so on towards Adarna we push. We have ourselves a Turkish castle. Just want to be slightly mindful of the forces that are around in this part of the world. Into the mountain pass. There's a big rebel army there of Armenians. That's interesting. That could be causing them a few problems. Fine, onwards we go. Aleppo then. Oh, lovely. Our great favourite city of a hippo. I don't know why that always became the name on my campaigns, but apparently it did at some point, and so it's stuck for quite a long time since. We'll continue to move in this direction. The reinforcement force, the sweeping up force can... You know what? Should they come around, they can stand on the bridge. Why ever not? And the rest of us... You know what, if you can move a bit further, you might as well swing around, that's fine. You guys stand on the bridge, and we can continue to move in that part of the world. It's up north where there's probably a little bit more going on. On to Sarkel, a castle with a general, Mikhail, and a fair few units. Interesting. I don't remember how many I gave them, but they seem to have a few for themselves anyway. On to Ryazan. Obviously, our siege equipment is all down south, so we're not quite there yet. We will, though, put under siege, a couple of siege towers, a few ladders. Prefer the ladders, to be honest. The Russians apparently not happy with us invading. Hardly surprising, but there we go. And yeah, we'll just leave the mop-up force. Maybe they can swing around to the river and just make sure that nothing sneaks through. Russia, relations abysmal. Fine, fine, fine. Hardly surprising. Into Aleppo we go. Should be a basic affair. Well, of course, this time we do have a full-on castle to take down, but there's not enough troops in it for it to really matter. So we'll smash down this wall, which gives us a very nice shot at the plaza. So if any luck, we can give them a good battering. We might just need to shift the angle in a moment when we do that. But we should have a very nice angle indeed. I'm looking forward to this one. Bit of an awkward affair at this point because with such low experience they were really struggling to land any hits on these guys. We got like one hit, but I was trying to get onto the wall there. Unfortunately, we've just about caught them, so all cav at this point might as well come and swarm on in. Same with the rest of the infantry. We'll just pile on top of them at this point because, to be honest, that is much more likely to actually work. My infantry will do a good job against their cav anyway, but if I could have got them up on the wall, that would have been ideal. Nonetheless, I think at this point we'll just break them, and with victory declared, I think, to be honest, we'll just end the battle. Minimal losses, well, not quite minimal, but small enough. Another day and another city absolutely wrecked. Unfortunately, we ran off in the wrong direction. I don't know what you're doing, Abakla. But hey ho, no need to worry about any of that. So we have wreaked havoc with much of the Middle East so far. We are moving in the right direction, mind you. Ryazan will be next turn, of course. So let's end a turn and see if anyone wants to appear, especially up in the north here. Nothing like a good old assassination attempt, although I do feel like the blue dart from the barrel is not the most likely. Turns out that this merchant has been slaughtered and otherwise got these guards around, but they failed to do the job, and with that some nice experience train. Some dread and authority, lovely stuff. Yes, if you've seen my authority video, you'll probably know that murderful dread is by far the easiest way of getting up some nice authority. could do with a little bit more, to be honest, because he is not the most authoritative lad, it is fair to say. Actually, notice there he's prolific. This man cannot indulge in carnal pleasures lawful or otherwise about a woman's belly, giving him away months later. Oh, indeed. Yes, just to make sure we didn't have too many problems with the family tree, I've made like all of these guys. Oh, you were one of them. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so we've I didn't realise he was a family member as well. That's particularly bad. Yeah, I've made all of these particularly fruitful lads, so hopefully they'll have some more children. But to be honest, it's not too likely anytime soon, simply because, well, we haven't got any regions and we've already got 4 family members, so we'll see about all of that. Okay, Ryazan. What do we have? A bunch of Kazakhs and some woodmen. Interesting. The rest of their troops seem to have disappeared for the time being. Golden Assassin can move down this direction. That would be lovely. Yeah, let's just make sure there's nothing too close. It's a very big open land, this. So, one day there'll be a road here, but for now the Russians haven't bothered building one. Reinforcements in their way, and on their way. And Sarkel, oh yeah, we can head into the castle of Sarkel, which could be a fun one. We've got Mikhail over here. A few units, some crossbow militia as well. 9 turns it can hold out, but I suspect it'll just be smashed up by us momentarily. As for Adarna, ooh, well, this is where some of our forces are meeting up actually. So this force, these 3 forces can continue with Anatolia, but these guys are probably going to swing down, deal with Egypt in time. We do notice are just sneaking their men around a little bit. There's some really awkward positions here for the spy where we can have some good vision if we're sensible, but we end up losing sight in the odd spot. There's like one particular dead spot here. We just lose sight of everything. So we'll just swing over in this part of the world. Yeah, so they're looking towards Baghdad. We'll just keep our mop up army in this part of the world. Just keep an eye on it. We're not actually at war with Egypt yet, so we'll stay in, well, actually we're in their region, we're in Jeddah, so that's fine. They're actually in their own territory, but I suspect they'll be moving towards Baghdad in time, especially as it's a common jihad early on in the game. Right, Antioch. We probably want that full-on force to deal with you. We're going to swing these guys in towards Damascus. You know, we somehow have ended up with a second extra little force here. I'm not going to attack these guys, but I'm going to run in this direction just to give them a little poke. You're going to Antioch. You might as well head down towards Acre then, my good friend. With Antioch gone, then these 2 guys can focus on Adarna. Now, okay, you know, we'll put it under siege. We might well just attack it with a trebuchets next time. That's probably the better plan, but I wouldn't mind some ladders as well. Might make things a little bit easier. So we'll see a bit of that. Fine. Into Sarkel and Ryazan then. Ryazan, we have some ladders. Sarkel, we have the trebuchets. We've just done a bit of trebuchet work, so we'll do some ladder work. The gates are actually open. Wow, nice work, Mr. Spy. Captain Stanimir is going to go down. I will say, if I go for some classic Total War accents in this campaign, I will... I half apologise, but I would also point out my class at my school where I teach is half Russian / Ukrainian, so I hear an awful lot of Russian accents, and the children have praised my Russian accent when trying to teach me Russian. So you know what? I stand by. I'm being told good things about my Russian accent, which that obviously was more of the Total War accent. Anyway, let's head in and let's slaughter him. Of course, because we've opened up all their gates, they are panicking and they're trying to defend lots and lots of different entry points, which means they're not in position. They're not in position at all for us to arrive, which is perfect news for us. Lovely stuff. We'll just swing some more of our horse archers around into this position. Running in, I generally prefer ladders to towers simply for the speed. I do like the maneuverability, getting ourselves into position. That is indeed what is currently happening. We have ourselves tons and tons of archer support should we need it. Russians on top of this tower over here. It's kind of flickering on and off. It's going to come back on at this point. But Hopefully we're doing a lot of damage to the woodsmen who don't have very much in way of defense. They are just big axe people, if you do recall. High on the attack, low on the defense. So as we climb up, where are they trying to get to? Because they seem a bit distracted by us there, but there's a lot of troops all around right now. They are not in a position to do anything about it. Fine, 78. Climb up there, my good sirs, and they should be surrounded and fleeing before too long if we're lucky, but they could cause us some damage because our armour is not going to be too effective against all of that. They are indeed broken. They are broken, which is a good start for us. As for all of this, the Kazakhs, we can just rain arrows down on them. That is what we need to see. The towers are now activating because they've run their cavalry into support. So I'm just going to swing everyone out and around. Get these guys up into the wall as quickly as possible. And hopefully... they're sending their cavalry out. Interesting. All cavalry! Swing in and destroy them! Don't actually need these cav on this flank anymore at this point. So we'll just swing those around into there. That's fine. Oh, that's not on fire. That's just glowing people. Perfect news. They are being slaughtered. There, down goes the general. Well done indeed. It's nice to see some luscious greenery here. All my cav, just stay out. Thank you very much. Let me just shoot them from up on their own walls. That will be fine. Fine and dandy, like lemon shandy. Indeed, yes, we'll just shoot down the Kazakhs from the walls. That's what we want to see. Okay, all of our cavalry really needs to be on spread out, and if they are going to use some towers, at the very least we can be spread out to try and deal with them. A few losses here, not kind of ideal. Actually, could we pour our cavalry in? We possibly could, you know, but it's really not worth it, I don't think, because it's a bit of a narrow entrance. We'll probably end up losing a lot more than we need to. We'll probably end up losing our general for no good reasons. So there we go. All the cav can now start flooding in. It doesn't really matter if they're running back to the plaza at this point, because we've just actually, to be honest, these guys can shoot from up here and shoot all of them down. That's pretty much what we should be doing at this point. These guys can likewise then take up their position over here. Yeah, those Kazakhs are around him. That's pretty much what we wanted to see. So get on top of these guys as much as possible. Missiles aiming to these guys. They will break when they're off the plaza in a moment if we're lucky, and that will be the battle right about there. Indeed it is. Right, before we shoot all of ourselves in the head, I think we'll just call it a day there, because I suspect these guys are pretty much giving up the ghost. Only the greatest of men win victories like this with massive, overwhelming numbers. Yes, indeed. Okay, Captain Stanimir, 218 men lost to 76. Not too bad. A few Mongol infantry healed up from the massive axes to their throats, so well done for them. A little bit of magic sponge is all one ever needs. With that, Ryazan will fall to the Great Rebel Alliance. And one of the things I'm really enjoying about this campaign so far is the fact that, of course, we're kind of making the rebels win, whilst in many ways we are kind of the nomads, bringing back, you know, the true way of human life as nomads, bringing unison with the world. Yeah, in many ways we are just painting the map grey, which is kind of beautiful. I might well do a time lapse for this campaign when we're done. Actually, it will be kind of fun just to see the grey spread westward across the known world. I say that we might well fail, so we might well not see that in its entirety, but we'll see how all of that goes. Sarkel then with Mikhail. It's nice to take out this out. He's got a guard dog. You know what? He might be a good boy, but he might not be a good owner, so we better go deal with him, and we'll get the guard dog to be our friend. Easily riled, good with cavalry, natural commander. Fortunately, how much cavalry does he have? A few Kazakhs, but they're a bit awkward inside a castle. Let's hit him. Let's take him down. Oh, it is cute. The advisor's telling me not to destroy the city. That's literally what we're here for. We're here to destroy everything, my good sir. We're not trying to shoot cows just yet. Thank you very much. Please stick to the actual rocks for the time being. We're going to smash a few holes in this wall. That will be marvellous. We'll see what they want to do about it. But of course, we do have a half decent shot of the plaza. Should we knock down this particular bit of wall? Yes, my good sir, we're trying to spread nomadism, which means we're trying to destroy all of the cities. So thank you very much. but no thank you. If they want to come out of their gate, then we've got the cavalry out on this flank just to make sure that we are covered should we need that. And it does look awfully like these two walls are going to go down. These towers can really take a beating. We've been pummeling them for quite a long time, and finally managed to take them out. We'll try a few flaming shots if we can right at the end here, but we're not going to have much time for any of that nonsense, especially if you're that inaccurate, my good sir. So yeah, we finally got rid of that other tower just in time. A few flaming shots. There we go. A few crispies. They're actually piling out. Are they actually going to do that? They didn't like that when they did, because they started getting shot down by all the missiles in the world. So yeah, go off fire. I'm quite happy for you to actually come out if you want to. But okay, apparently they are. They're going to come out. So I guess then all the cavalry in the world can start swinging into that flank, because the Kazakhs are not going to do very well against all of my missiles. That's for sure. These guys, if you could just land a shot on someone around here, that would be stunning. We're actually losing a few to missiles. We'll just get our... You know what? Yeah, get our lancers in there. Get our lancers in there. In fact, just get all the cavalry piling in. At this point, that'll be fine. They'll start breaking, melting like Swiss cheese. I don't know how well Russian cheese melts. I know nothing about Russian cheese. But what I do know is that we're about to splatter their general with the last fire we have. Maybe we should stop, actually, my good sirs. Maybe just stop. Just mop them up as much as you possibly can. Missiles took a tiny poke. Not that much. Down goes Mikhail in an ill-fated charge out of the city, which, to be fair, isn't the worst idea with missile cav, but interesting that they waited until the towers were down to do that. It would have been better when their towers were working, because at that point, well, we had destroyed everything with the trebuchets, but yes, just in general, it seemed like a bit of a late ploy, that one. Right, with the cavalry all there, these guys can just stop, please. Just go hang out over there. No, don't do that. Get out of there, your lancers, you utter fools. Yeah, we're just going to get the lancers out of there. I'm going to try and get some of these guys up on the wall, because that's probably the most efficient way of finishing all of this off. So we'll get these guys up to the walls if possible. The cavalry can cover them, and that should be victory there. Charge into the crossbows, because to be honest, we could do with a nice cavalry charge just to keep them busy, give them a good annihilating, which is just what we need. Get the general out of there now. Don't need him to die randomly, but a good little charge keeps them busy, hopefully knocks the numbers down significantly. And now it's simply a case of shooting them down. Where are the crossbows? We're trying to shoot the crossbows. There we go. Everyone else can just go down whenever they go down. Jumble back over here, and the missiles can finish the job. You guys stop it and just shoot. A lovely victory for us there. 45 men lost. They have 0 remaining. The city, or the castle of Sarkel, is now ours, and by ours, I mean it's a burning pile of rebel. A burning pile of rebel. Wow, I'm dyslexic. A burning pile of rebel. So there we are. Sack the settlement, and another city, or castle indeed, goes down. The grey wave is spreading across the country, and indeed we'll continue to take them out. Probably time to swing toward Kiev, I imagine, and Moscow up in the north. That's very nice indeed. Trebizond will actually be able to move on from there next turn, and indeed on to the likes of Adarna and Antioch, and very soon the end of the Turks, who might well go down today. That might actually be a plan. Actually, say that there's still a few more over there. They've still got 5. Still got 5. We've taken out so many already. We've taken out what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their towns. They still have 11. Wow. Wowee. But soon they'll be gone. Well, it's a new day, and we might as well get ourselves some boats at long last. So onwards we go, and we'll just sail along the waterfront here on the Caspian. Well, on the Caspian. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, the Caspian's over here, Thomas. Yes, we're just going to sail on the Black Sea, on the north coast. And we'll land over in this kind of a direction, carry on bringing the fight to the Byzantines. As for everyone else, well, Adarna is well under siege, but Antioch Well, this one could be quite fun. We could actually have a battle out in the field. Oh, they want to do it. At long last, a proper Mongol fight out in the field. And I've got the most heavy infantry-based army I could possibly have. Nonetheless, a big pile of peasant archers. There are some Turkish archers among them. Fairly decent long-range lads. Got to be careful of that. Otherwise, just some spear militia, town militia, the odd Turkmen. Okay, nothing too complicated. As for the general himself, decent little young lad here, but he will soon be dead. Some Bedouin cav. Well, I think we don't need to worry too much about that, but it'd be nice to use the army out in the field. Let it in. Luckily, we do have ourselves a lovely hill position here, and with the trebuchets as well as our beautiful missile launchers. Oh yes, this could be an awful lot of fun. For starters though, the Turkmens are getting themselves shot down. Of course, all of our infantry are archers anyway, so no need to worry about any of that. They're going to get themselves slaughtered. No trouble whatsoever. As for the rest of them, hopefully they don't coward out. Hopefully we can go and take them down. They've got a long way up the hill to us though. We've slightly changed the angle here. Of course, we do need to be facing the main army rather than the reinforcements. So in come the rockets, and oh, they're such a wonderful thing. How can you not love those? The flaming shots just there to scare them as they come on in. A few crispy lads at the back. Oh, isn't that just beautiful? Are they actually going to come in and take on these guys properly? They might do, you know. And crispy. Oh, they don't look too happy about any of this, do they? They are having second thoughts. It's a big old hill, and here come the discs of death. Oh, yes. Oh, these don't get old, do they? Now, we are actually going to lose one or two of these men. This is... We haven't even got horse archers in this battle, really. We've got like 4 units of them. This is quite spectacular. Okay, you know what? Horse archers, there was something we just missed there. Horse archers, can you start getting around the flanks, please? Let's just readjust the order because some of those are on the other flank. So, yes, these two guys, get yourselves over on that flank. No. You run over there. All of you, go and take out those Turkish archers in the rear. And cavalry, yeah, just charge on down the hill. I think we'll be fine. Yeah, no one's even got to the rockets, and unfortunately for us, rockets only have about 3 volleys worth, which is plenty of destruction, to be fair. So there, we're running out soon enough. I don't think we're particularly aiming at a sensible place right now, but mostly we seem to have cleared them off. Fine. Let's get the cavalry charging those down. And we'll just start harassing these guys with our horse archers. So you guys, yeah, you just get yourselves in that kind of direction. Everyone else can charge them down. Oof, the general has been splattered by our lads now. And, okay, he's going to have a little uphill charge. It's not enough. He immediately falls to one of our heavy infantry / archers. So that indeed is the battle right there. All missiles should probably stop shooting and we'll just charge them down best we can. A glorious victory there for a Bakwa, a man known for his attacks on Syria in real life. And we are indeed in Antioch right now, and we might be walking in with that victory because that was glorious. Oh, there is the opportunity to ransom, and you know what? No, don't do this. On this occasion, it's execution time. I think we're quite happy to end this out in the field. No need to give them their city back. And with that, Antioch is under our /nomadic control once more. Lovely stuff. So we'll just leave the rebels in control of that, and I guess head on into Damascus, which don't have any siege equipment for this, so sadly not immediate, but soon enough. We haven't actually waged war with the Egyptians just yet. Got a sneaky little eye on this army that's moving eastward. There's no general, so I suspect there's a good chance they'd lose. Yeah, against Stonewall City with that many units in, I'm sure they would indeed fail. Okay, as for Adarna, we probably would be fine to do it that way, but we might just get the trebuchets in as well. We can add those into the army next time, so no trouble with that. Sarkel has been sorted, which means, to be honest, we should be heading over the river and in that kind of a direction. We have some rebels over here. Bit annoying, to be honest, my good sirs, but we'll move over here and make sure we mop up anyone else. Razan's already been dealt with. Let's go, and oh yes, there is Moscow. Okay, So can we quite reach that? We can't. So you know what? I'm just going to stroll on past. Aha! Here we are, Radoslav. One more of them up there in the field might want to take us on. Indeed, I think we'll want to take them on soon enough as well. We've got a few armies around here. This is just kind of a mop-up force. So you, my good sir, can head towards sort of Kiev kind of way. We've got the assassin around here anyway. Lovely stuff. And yeah, there's Kiev, which is Hungarian, of course. I forgot about that. So yeah, let's swing along the north and mop up Russia first, and then we'll head down south into those lads. It'll take us a while to get there anyway, so no need to worry about that. We just have to make sure that none of the Russians are sneaking back through to reclaim any of that territory. Don't want any of that kind of nonsense. Okay, so Adarna's next turn. We probably, for this turn then, just need to mop up this army up here in the field. Should be simple enough. Well, for once we get ourselves a bit of a horse archery contest, which we haven't had nearly enough of for the Mongols. Yes, we've been using plenty of artillery, not so much the actual horse archers. We can make some awful good use of those. And there is one unit of Boyar Sons which has already been cleared out. These guys very strong indeed, as you might well know. 9 attack, 8 missile, effective against armour, good stamina, 14 defence. Very solid unit early on in the game, but we've already mopped them up. The rest of them are pretty much just standing on a hill, getting themselves slaughtered. I think at this point, to be honest, it's time to send some of the lancers in from on top of the hill, just to make sure that they get the message, which is go home and die. It's a friendly message, let's be fair. So inward, some of the spear militia come. These guys are probably not going to stand and fight for very long once they realise they're being shot from every direction, and all their friends are also running away, and that there's also no way of escaping. These guys are going to mop them up. Someone in the distance will also do the same for them, and the battle is pretty much already over. A tidy enough victory then. 48 men lost, 500 odd of theirs, and to be honest, a pretty solid unit in the Boyar Sons, who I would not want to take on in a big citadel. So execute them, and Moscow is looking awfully threatened. We are indeed attacking Russia in winter, but with the Mongols, so we do what we want. And with that, it's probably time to end our turn. Time for one of my favourite kind of murders, the church murder. I don't get to see this one too often. Particularly in the confession booth. Oh, what a terrible. You should have the knife out before you walk in the booth, man. Useless. Useless fool. Well, he didn't get caught, so that's the main thing. Just have a little attempt at poking those guys with the knife, and it did not work. Okay, so we have a couple armies here outside Moscow, one inside Moscow. Quite a big force, actually. So I suspect we should take on this lad in the field and head into the city itself with this Grand Duke Sieva himself. Oh, lovely. We can take him down pretty darn quickly into the game. I'll be happy with that. So let's continue heading in this direction. My good man here is the one with the siege equipment, so he's going to take ages to get over to Kiev, so we'll just keep on moving in that direction. Our good boaty friend, Boaty McBoatface, is going to swing on down in this direction. There we go. Byzantine lad is waiting for us in the field. Very nice of him. Tell you what we will do. We're going to hire up some of our lovely mercs. We'll get some of the Kinjis, who are the basic lads, and Turkomans who are slightly better. Bit of upkeep now. That's nothing too much to worry about, but it would be nice just to have a few extra forces around to mop anyone up, should we need to do so. Right, as for Adarna, you know what? What we'll probably do here is we'll swap a few lads out. So we don't need those 4 for this battle, but we will grab those 4. Lovely stuff. You know what, we'll have to do it this awkward way because the game is silly. And yes, take the artillery. Apparently we need space for... Okay. Let's just do this the way that I planned. Thank you very much. And you already have some siege equipment to add to your trebuchets. In we go to Adarna. Lovely stuff. Well, as has become tradition, we're going to start off by demolishing the wall that they're standing on. Luckily for them on this occasion, the 4th shot was the one that made them move. So we're not going to quite collapse the wall with them on. No respect for tradition, these Turks, do they? Let's start aiming at this wall instead. Maybe they'll respect it more when they're dead. The disrespect of these lads. They're running off once again, and to be honest, while I can't blame them, I'm intrigued to see if they're just going to run over to this wall again. Please get on top of this wall because it's so close to collapsing. A few lads did actually get caught by the boulders, which is amusing, but not quite what I want to see. Get back up on the wall and die like foolish men. Well, with the walls and several towers thoroughly demolished, it's time to send in the cavalry and some of the archers to go and grab the walls. They are giving us a bit of a poke annoyingly, so I'm just going to send in my cavalry to keep them busy. Row infantry and archers get up on the walls. Hopefully they'll just give up by sheer numbers. I'd hope so, because we have ourselves a few entrances to run through, so hopefully we are indeed doing that job. Pokey pokey, there goes a route onto the next unit, and hopefully this just pushes them back towards the plaza, where in the end we can just shoot them from the walls, but we just need to make sure we've cleared the way to get these guys up first. Once we've done that, then we are all good. And in the end, they're not putting up an awful lot of a fight. They have tried to come and fight us here off the plaza, which is, you know, fair enough to them, but the archers are up on the walls now, so they're not in much of a position to do any more fighting. We've technically won the battle now, but I do really like to see a little bit more experience on these units. Unfortunately, we've been spreading out the killing far too much, and we haven't got enough kills so far, so we'll do a bit more archery shooting. Maybe we'll gain some experience on someone. Like this guy's been shooting for a little while, but to be honest, it doesn't look like he's going to use many arrows, so in the end they're just going to go down, and it's another city under our control. Indeed, only 42 men lost in the end, so a great victory for Batu. Bit of siege equipment helps us along the way, and well, I don't know quite where it's going to throw us, because this rebel general over here is, yes, okay, this rebel general is now next rebel city. Maybe he'll just jump in the city. I mean, that would be a very, very strong force to hold that for future assaults. So, I mean, there's a massive hole in the front of the fortress, which you can kind of see right there. That's a good detail of the game. See a nice entry point. Okay, so Caesarea and Iconium, pretty much all that stands between us now, because we have Damascus left to head into here. And you know what? Let's have a little look. Oh, 24%. Not worth any of that nonsense. We can try and kill Diplomat though, 77%. Why ever not? It's just a simple nighttime occasion. How are we going to do this? Oh! The insane way. Okay. Seems like he's going to succeed though. Time for Splody Splody. That's one way of killing a man. Interesting. Well, job done, I suppose. Bye bye, my diplomatic friend. Meet my kind of diplomacy. It comes with fire. And with that, of course, we can start marching on. So these guys are just reinforcements. They can just stand up in the heights. And we'll head into Damascus, which, I'll be honest, yeah, this Turkish archers aside, it's a pretty simple affair. Well, nothing to write home about there. Damascus falls into our hands simply enough. Sack the settlement, move on, rinse and repeat. Okay, so we do now have some of the Egyptians in behind us, which is something I very much need to pay attention to. You, my good sir, your job is not to go and deal with that part of the world. Your job is to go and make sure these guys aren't wandering off anywhere they shouldn't. Now this guy is going to continue following this army. We'll just keep an eye on what they actually do. As for this lot, we'll just continue skirting along this border here. We'll keep a close eye on them. I'd like to finish off the Turks pretty soon. You, my good sir, are going to head off in this direction. So, yes, we'll just we'll stay on the bridge. Should we stay on the bridge? We are supposed to talk to the Egyptians. So you know what? We'll go have a chat with them. Gives us 500 florins or something like that, so we might as well take the free money. As for all of this nonsense, well, I'm just going to plod in this direction. I doubt very much they want to attack us, so I'm just going to merge my two armies together. Just get in Adarna, we'll walk past and we'll leave you be, because I'm not worried about any of that, my rebel friends. As for this, well, we'll see how it goes, but I think for the time being, yeah, we've only got one thing left to do, which, number one, put Moscow under siege. Very nice indeed. Number two, we have a nice big army here to take on in the field, but it's not any of the good units of the Russians. It's all the useless ones. Oh, lovely. So, let's head into Radoslav and really puncture the lungs of the Russian Empire today. The Russian bear will be gasping for breath after this. Well, to begin with, it's probably a good idea to get on top of their light cavalry. With our light cav, we indeed do have our own horse archers and many more of them. I always fill it with horse archers. If you've got enough of them, just charge them in, because usually the numbers is enough to win you over pretty darn quickly. On this occasion, it hasn't been quite as quick as I might have imagined. They're really charging forward at us. They do have a big infantry advantage, of course, so that is in some ways not surprising. Just going to send these guys out to a flank. If I'm honest, what I'd quite like to do is to send my lancers smashing into their front lines. And ideally, yeah, let's just get my missiles shooting into the second line if I can possibly manage it. Yeah, just hit those guys, that'll be absolutely fine. Those Kazakhs have not been wiped out as quick as I wanted, and we've actually taken a strangely large amount of damage to them. I'm not quite sure why, but just try swarming them a little bit more. There's the swarm. Just need to get around them a little bit more. So with them gone, we'll just let them run off. That's fine by me. Okay, big charge from the cavalry. We haven't really had a proper charge. I think the heavy lancers have hit that part of the battle, and the light lancers really need to get out of there quickly because they are not in it. In fact, it's pretty easy for them to charge all the way through. Let's just go for the full-on wedge and just charge straight through the lines. That's really best for you. Okay, horse archers, get yourself over into that flank. That's beautiful. It's nice to be doing a bit more of a proper battle at this particular occasion. Horse archers just shoot into their flanks. And what have we got here? We got the general. Lancer him, please. And that's spear militia, but honestly I'm quite happy for the heavy lancers to smash into them if indeed that's what they need to do. Fine. Let's get these lancers into the rear. Let's get all of these guys shooting into them, and lancers smashing into them. You can see them flying there. That is magnificent stuff. We did lose quite a few of our lancers in there, unfortunately. It is a pile of infantry, so what do you expect, eh? We use these guys more sparingly now because they've done the heavy damage there, but not quite done enough. So into the general. Let's throw our general into that now as well. These guys, they're spear militia. Yeah, I'm about to say just charge them. Just charge them at this point. That's a mercenary crossbowman. Get on top of them as well. You get on top of them. You charge into the back of those spearmen, please. You're only horse archers, but you're heavy enough. You'll do the job. And with the trap closing, oh yeah, I don't think they're going to do awfully well here. This general has got himself stuck in a not so sensible position. So we'll just chase him down with as much of our cavalry as possible. Yeah, that general is now fleeing as well. Get on top of him. Do not let him get away. The battle is pretty much over here. 1 or 2 units fighting to the death in the centre. Not so worried about them. Just get rid of the 2 generals. They need to go down. Right, archer militia in the rear, just running off. Oh, continue the battle. That was awfully lucky because I didn't mean to click on it, but it happened to be one I did want anyway. So we'll just send some lancers off in the directions. What do I have? You're the heavy lancers. You're heavy lancers as well. No light lads to go and chase them, unfortunately, but we do have some guys in the distance, so we'll just make sure get on top of those cav. Zub of Zaluga has now been taken down, which is lovely, and these cav are going to hopefully catch up with the general himself, because we do need, is it Radoslav? We need Radoslav to go down too. We can see him here. Oh, he's panicking. He is indeed panicking. No one else seems to be chasing him. Just get people chasing him now. That would be absolutely lovely. What's this glitching going on? Some very interesting glitching going on over here. Impressive. Are you even alive? I don't know what's happening, but apparently some dead horses are... Can we just try and get on top of them? Are these guys... Can we fight them? I don't know what's happening. They're animating, but anyway, let's just hope the battle doesn't break at this point, because it does seem like the general is trying desperately to get away. He's the only man left alive at this point, so we should probably kill him. Apart from these guys who, whatever they are, I think they're dead. I'll be honest, if I looked like... Yeah, down he goes. Down goes another general. So yeah, if I look like that, I suspect I wouldn't be doing so hot. But sometimes they're looking alright. They're a bit possessed. Oh, excellent stuff. Okay, let's end the battle there. That was interesting. We've actually caught the general himself. He's been captured, but of course, execute is the order. Down goes one general, down goes a second, and Moscow has no reinforcements at all. I'm not sure what mercenary cog I want to hire right now, my good sir, but not going to work out well. Right, so we have Sjevelod in the down there, and the rest of us can just continue marching up north. That would be marvellous. Let's keep pushing ever westward onto the bridge with you. Just keep an eye out. Can't see anything of interest right now. Onto the road we soon will go. Okay, well, it's nearly time to end the episode for today, but I think we'll just end our turn and see if there's anything more of intrigue before we get to that point. Another day, another random building's been burnt down in a foreign city. And yeah, the Egyptians, we're not quite at war yet, but we're pretty much lined up to. As for the rebels, they have disappeared. They didn't go in the city. Don't know where they've gone. Maybe they're just hidden in this forest right here. I don't know how they get there, but that's what I'm suggesting. Okay, they are right in my way. They clearly haven't read the memo, but there we go. Okay, you my good sirs. Oh, there's no boats. Why are there no boats? Give me a boat for Pete's sake. Well, we'll have to get a boat another time. For now, we'll just block up that pass over there. And we'll head toward Nicaea. That's lovely. A few more forces over in this part of the world. Need to be a little bit careful. We have some of these lads over here just to poke around. Let's go have a little look at Kaffa. Nothing of interest. There's a few units there. Just a little village, actually. That should be quite simple to take over when the time comes. In fact, I could just send a little mercenary force to do that. That might not be the worst idea. Maybe that's actually what the mercs might be quite useful for. So we'll see about that. Okay, so for next time then, it looks like the Hungarians are poking around. Looks like they want to do something. We'll just keep an eye on them with the backup force. Over in Moscow, Sjevelod is waiting to be killed. And his units are starting to get chipped down. We hopefully bothered to build some siege equipment. We did indeed. So that could be quite a big tasty affair. Few forces up in the north, nothing too much to worry about. And this part of the world, well, the Turks I think will be gone next time. Indeed they will, but more interesting things as we try and take over Anatolia. Could the Byzantines be slightly more of a problem for us? Who knows? The Turks, they might have one or two last heavy battles up their sleeves, because Caesarea could be tough if they can upgrade it to a fortress, which they might well do. Have to see about all of that nonsense. But for now, I will probably have to leave you. As for our family tree, by the way, Ugadai, up to 13 years old. So the day may come very soon where we settle a city so that we can grab ourselves a brand new prince. Oh, how lovely. You'll notice we haven't got any children, in spite of the fact that all these people are incredibly fruitful. But oh well, that is just the way it goes. Yeah, this guy's given up on his plot. We'll keep a close eye on him, but he seems to have given up on all that kind of affair. I suspect he thinks that there's more going on at home. Well, I will leave you for now. I'm Dumbest, this is Dumbest the Human, and this has been our Mongol Horde Campaign on Medieval 2 Total War. Thank you, and bye-bye. Today we're going to go for particularly aggressive diplomacy. Oh yes, it worked. Kablamo! You were always going to die, Steve. Oh! My feudal knights! My crispy feudal knights! The ram's burning! Right at the death!